Just breathe, baby. Just breathe.
Relax.
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. What is up, everybody? Welcome into the pregame show. Football TV, where you could be watching this game along with a bunch of other channels, and give a middle finger to Comcast. Woo! F Comcast, get them out of Denver. Guys, Game 5. Not at all an understatement to say the biggest game of the year. Quite possibly the biggest game of the Jokic era. Debatable. There's been some big ones, debatable, but at least it's in the conversation. It's in the conversation. A massive, pivotal Game 5 as the Nuggets Suns are tied 2-2. And who better to talk about that very game than the fellas on this panel? Starting with, oh man, I didn't even notice. Big game. You got to bust. Everybody bust out their best fit. Big game. We got flower shirt vote in the house.
I did my part, fellas. Flower shirt had not one but two smoothies today. Went for a light yog as well. We'll see how it
to
works
work off
out.
the first smoothie? Is that
Yeah,
the
that's
idea?
right, yep.
Then you had
Are you
another
gonna get,
smoothie.
Yeah.
Do you excuse yourself at some point? Like,
I feel great.
okay.
I feel great.
Over here, the genius himself. It's D-Line Co.
Look at solidarity with my Avs brethren. I've got Landeskog here on the shirt, hoisting a trophy.
Well, that was really sweet of you.
Consider the vibes I'm bringing.
All
to
right,
this
those
show.
are some good ass vibes. And then over there, you want to talk about vibes? You guys all brought your B game, the A game, the Serbia jersey that he wore courtside for the Sombor Shuffle. Superstar Dev.
I just remember what happened the last time that I had this jersey on. So I said, you know what? Let's bring that thing back.
Bring
that thing back. I
talking
want the
about-
same kind
You
of
talking
game.
about when I stole your burrito on accident?
We don't talk about that, man.
We're going to talk about record. Somehow big records happened in the last game that nobody talked about, so we're going to talk about it. We're
Let's
the
go.
nobody. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about role players making an impact and, of course, bets. But first, we always do game notes to start us off. What do you got for us, Vote?
Alrighty, folks. Well, Michael Malone was doing some reflecting on this series. Sitting with Jamal yesterday, talking to him, reminding Jamal, but he had to remind himself of this as well. It's 2-2. And coming off of two losses in Phoenix where they didn't play the way they want to, it can feel like they're down 3-0. It can feel like they don't have a chance in this series. But of course, Denver won 2 games at home. Phoenix won 2 games at home.
And that quote, by the way, was specifically about, does Denver need to make adjustments? And his thing was, it's 2-2. It's not like we're down in a series. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that. It was, when you go to make the adjustments, you have to keep in mind that what we're doing is not getting us killed at the moment. So don't he was asked specifically about over-adjusting.
That's right, and he doesn't want to because it's still 2-2. And in his mind, this series is coming down to one thing, transition defense. We can talk about everything else, Devin Booker, pick and roll, KD, yada, yada, yada. Come on, man, he said. We're giving them over 19 transition points a night. We're ranked 8 of 8 teams in the second round in transition defense. And it's not just them scoring on our turnovers. We're doing a good job with turnovers, but they're scoring off misses and makes. Booker is a one-man break right now. There are some things they can do about that. They've got to be more disciplined with the crash rate. Guys are crashing from the top of the key when they shouldn't be. And then obviously, in terms of guys who are getting back, they got to do a better job of picking them up earlier. They got to do a better job of pointing and talking. But transition defense is his absolute key to winning Game 5 in this series.
He's dead right about this, but it's twofold for me. Number one, campaign. So Chris Paul goes out, and he referenced this. I'll leave you save that note for next. But campaign might be making an effect here. But number two, the Nuggets have been bad in transition all year off non-turnovers. Denver, I know talking to some of the people in the Nuggets organization earlier in the year, asking them what's wrong with the defense, why isn't it better? And they're looking at it and saying, look, there's not a discernible thing in this data that tells us why. The team actually guards really well out of timeouts, really good off of makes. They get beat off of misses, and we can't figure out why it is that the team gets beat in transition, just even if they're all the way back. And I think that this hints at a maybe larger problem in something Denver is doing or not doing. And that's why when I hear the, what's different? I don't know, but we got to be better. It makes me almost a little nervous because it's a trait Denver has carried with them all year, and Phoenix might be exploiting that a little bit. Nonetheless, they can be better.
And Phoenix, to the point you alluded to briefly there, is just playing faster in general, whether it's Devin Booker or Campaign, who's sprinting as well. And Malone didn't mean this as a shot as Chris Paul, one of the greatest to ever do it, but they are playing so much faster right now. And there is game 3 and game 4.
By the way, I highlighted this on the list about campaign and how he has upped the tempo and how that was one of the things. I think you have to put a little more ball pressure on. Denver doesn't do that ever, and I wonder if that's part of why teams are able to, like, most of the time they get to walk it up and be rested, but I do wonder if there's times where they just run it up because they know nobody's going to stop me before half court, so I might as well get it up there. I don't know.
Going back to the theme of adjustments, the Nuggets are going to continue to switch up how they're defending Devin Booker. Having said that, Malone also said this, quote, "If we're going to go down, I still want somebody other than Devin Booker to beat us." So I would imagine a steady diet of help, even if when it comes, from where it comes, how often, changes throughout the game. They will still take a similar approach, I think.
The playoffs rule, man, everybody loves March Madness because of the one and done, and there's something about one game. But I will say, man, in the NBA, as a basketball purist and just lover of the game, this idea of adjustments, tonight we're going to be watching the very first double team, the very first swing to a role player for Phoenix in the corner, and we're going to be like, here it is, first one. Are they going to make them like they did last game or not? And I just love this idea of teams having to make these subtle things that have ripple effects game after game after game.
Yeah, that's true. I was just going to say, like, this is like where coaches make their money.
Yeah,
right?
It really is.
This is like during the regular season, the coach is like, this is where your coach is a rah-rah guy.
Yeah.
Locker room guy, is a culture guy. And now it's like, now you got to be an X's and O's guy.
Yeah.
So,
Michael Malone was also asked about one of the rotation adjustments he hinted at, including playing Peyton Watson. If you do go to Peyton tonight, what gives you the confidence he'll be able to handle just the moment, the playoffs, him being a rookie, of course? And Malone said that's kind of the beauty of it. He's a young man that spent a lot of time in the G League, worked on his body and improved. His game got stronger, all of this stuff. But I think what he ultimately gets at here is sometimes when you're that young, you don't fully understand the situation you're in. You're somewhat oblivious to it. So if Peyton is called upon tonight, I just want him to go out there and play and bring that youthful energy and athleticism and shot blocking. He's going to make mistakes, but don't worry about making mistakes. Any minutes in this postseason he gets is so valuable for him and his continued development.
So we talked about this yesterday on the show, Dev, but yesterday during his media availability, Michael Malone was asked, like, what are some players you could bring in? And he said, maybe you look at a Reggie Jackson, maybe him. You look at a Peyton Watson. And my read on it was, you always say the first one is a distraction.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the second one is the real one. I think Peyton plays tonight.
I also think that he plays. You don't mention a rookie's name.
That's so
out of
true.
all those other guys, there's Zeke Naji,
Yeah.
brought in Thomas
Wasn't
Bryant,
mentioned.
DeAndre Jordan.
Nope,
you have
wasn't
these
mentioned.
other guys that have been there, that have played, in playoff games and meaningful games. You didn't mention not one of them. You brought in. You mentioned a guy that's a rookie that hasn't played much. He's going straight from G League to a situation like this. I do think that they're going to have to, give him a look.
How does he? Do you think he plays tonight?
yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, this is like, it's like time to make adjustments. And I think one of the biggest adjustments that we saw Phoenix make that Denver needs to make is personnel.
Right.
It's the only adjustment that Denver hasn't made or even attempted to this point. It's been the same 8 guys the whole time. And like, it's, like Michael Malone says, transition is where they're getting killed. It really is the bench minutes where they're getting killed. It's like the bench has to figure it out. And bench meaning any time that Jokic is on the floor.
Yeah.
But we need to see, like they made an adjustment to bring in more offensively minded bench players. Like we can bring in more defensively minded bench players to see if we can counteract that. So yes, I do think so.
I like the move. I think that here's the thing. The talking heads that never actually provide analysis, they just provide reaction to whatever's happening. Fire this guy, trade that guy, but not why. What is it the team is missing? This is one of those ones where it's like, you could complain about a lack of adjustments or this or that, but I want to know if you're pro or anti a thing before it plays out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is this the right move or not? Because if it works out, if it doesn't work out, it'll be easy to say the wrong adjustment.
Yeah.
I just want to know now from everybody, like, is it the right thing? I think playing Peyton is. I don't know if it's going to work out. I do think it gives Denver the best chance, but this is the hard part about where Denver's at is you really don't know. Peyton Watson's such a mystery box.
I know he's so dynamic though. Like again, the last time we saw him was in like the most meaningless games that were played in the season. So we don't quite know where he's at as in regards to playoff pressure, but like he's got physical tools that are undeniable. He has timing, he has athleticism, and he appears to have sort of the same discipline that Christian Brown does,
right?
As far as like not going for jump fakes, pumps, and getting up in the air. So, I mean, I'm hoping that just inherently, once they get going, it just turns into basketball for him.
Devin Booker's the toughest guard in the NBA right now. Peyton's a rookie. That's like a wild first assignment. Playoffs, rookie. What were you going to say, Dev?
No, I was going to say, well, first off, I think it's wild that Peyton Watson has to be into this situation. You talk about the Devin Booker. I think most people think of him guarding Kevin Durant.
Might be.
You're asking him
it.
to guard two of the best people in the planet at scoring the basketball. Also, the idea of, and you alluded to it with Malone, of making adjustments. I do think that Malone has made adjustments. But it's, again, is it the right adjustments? Is it the correct ones? Is it the timely adjustments? So let's not just say he didn't make adjustments. They just didn't work the last time out.
Right. I mean, there's a million micro adjustments that are made. Personnel is a big one.
Yes.
And it's the one that I think the pundits I'm referring to are most capable of recognizing. So it's going to be the one that they approve or disapprove. But their approval will be if it works, and their disapproval will be if it doesn't, which is somewhat fair. Guys, something happened in this last game that didn't get discussed. Nikola Jokic became the Denver Nuggets franchise leader in playoff points all time.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it took 53 points for him to pass Alex English, but as we see here, I mean, look how cool this is. 1,546 points. Number one. First of all, this list, a little sad, really shows you how few playoff games Nuggets have had in their history.
Yeah.
You can look at this and just say, okay, there were three eras. Bobby Jones, David Thompson era, Alex English, Dan Issel era, Carmelo era, and then the Jokic era right now. There's four eras basically where guys played it all, and if you get to 1,000, only 5 guys, one of whom is Jamal. Vote, is this a big deal to you that Murray and Jokic are now in the top 5 all-time Denver Nuggets scorers in
Yes,
playoffs?
and it has to be, and it provides some perspective for how long those two have been at it.
Yeah.
This feels like a culmination of a lot of things, and we had to wait through the injuries. We all know it. But Jokic and Murray have a lot of playoff reps together, a lot of game 7s together. They've won series together. They've won and lost in myriad ways. And so it's not just about a group getting to the mountaintop for the first time in this team's history. It's also about, in the meantime, they've been winning a lot of games, playing a lot of playoff games. And I just think well on their way to, if whatever you want to call it, Pantheon, Mount Rushmore of Nuggets history. Right. They're making a case. And also, MPJ hilariously sneaking onto that list. Like, almost all these guys on this team still have a chance to, go down in history in a way that few Nuggets ever have. So, hopefully they understand that moment, It's a big opportunity.
Michael Porter's 8 points away from being in the top 10.
I'm just looking at this. Very noticeable, not a player in the 90s. 90s, a very dark era for the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, one playoff run.
Well, not a great one, apparently.
Not exactly great, yeah. But to you, I mean, you love the Nuggets. I think it is cool that Jokic, Murray, are in the top 5. They're number 1, 2, and 3s.
Dude, this is like, if you're a Nuggets fan, this is as good as it's ever been. This is
definitive proof, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like, it's just like, hey, remember back when? And you're like, yeah. Jokic this is different, man. This is like, we've never seen this in this town. It is wild what Jokic has accomplished already. What he's going to continue to accomplish. But like, this to me just says like, drink this in, man. We've never seen anything like this.
Dev, you got anything to add?
No, just to piggyback, the idea that this shows how much this team and this era is really the golden era. This is the best that they've ever been. And you get to see it. Jamal set out of playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs. But then they're already at the top. Jokic is already at the top, and not that long of a time frame. And then also you look at the games played. Everybody keeps on going back to the Melo thing. He's already played more games than Melo in the playoffs. He already has more points than him. Like, he's different. There's a new number 1. It's not arguable.
Some other names on this list, by the way, that you might just be curious about. So Michael Porter, again, 8 points behind. Monte Morris, 17th.
Man,
All-time playoff scorer.
God damn it. The Nuggets are such a terrible franchise until now. It's
Monte
like,
Morris, though, here's the thing. Ahead of Chauncey Billups and J.R. Smith.
I love this, dude. Mr. Nugget sneaks into the history.
Above Spencer Haywood, Paul Millsap 22nd, which is kind of wild, and Aaron Gordon 31st at 306 points. He has a ways to go, but nonetheless, still kind of cool. If we move it on now, tonight we're talking about Peyton Watson. So much breath is given to the stars because they are the most important players, but oftentimes they're also the most consistent. Michael Malone referenced it in the pregame. Game 4 was not about Devin Booker's 14 of 18. He's been great. It was about Landry Shamet's 5 of 8 from 3.
Yep.
Last night, if you're watching the Lakers, it was Lonnie Walker who won that game. It wasn't LeBron James or Anthony Davis. Those guys are consistently good. Steph Curry. Instead, it was Lonnie Walker who steps into a crazy role and comes up big.
role players at home.
Role players. And then if you just go through, Jock Landale, Gary Payton II started for the Warriors last night, albeit in a loss, although he played well. This is the thing about the playoffs, man. Teams find adjustments and players step in to big moments and make big plays. And that's why Denver sticking to an 8-man rotation made sense until now.
Right.
I do think now is the time where it's like, who's it going to be? Are you going to be the guy that comes in and becomes Lonnie Walker of the Nuggets, wins a game, and it's Austin Rivers,
Bones
one of
Highland.
those, Bones Highland? If it's going to happen, I honestly don't think Denver has had the role player game in this series yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it strategy, you can call it luck, but I'm telling you, the biggest part of luck is taking that chance. And those guys all got their chance. Lonnie Walker is not like a mainstay
right
in their rotation. Landry Shamet, he died on Christmas,
Yeah.
came back to life, was destroyed again by Jamal.
Yep.
He still was ready and open for that opportunity, and
died.
Monty Williams gave him that. So these people they're stepping up because they're getting the opportunity. Denver needs to give someone an opportunity to step up. It's not a promise that it's going to happen. You still, have to have those big moments. But right now, that's the word of the day is adjustments. You have to make one. Let somebody become a hero.
Do you have confidence that a role player is going to make an impact tonight in this game?
I mean, maybe. Like, I kind of think that Jokic is just going to dominate everything. But
again,
not unthinkable in any way.
Dominated last game, they lost.
Yeah, not unthinkable in any way, shape, or form. Could it be P-Wad? Could it be Christian? Could it? I mean, they're
At this point, KCP.
I was going to say in game 1 it was KCP.
Mike.
Who's a little role player like Michael Porter Jr.
Can I throw a name out, D-Line? Bruce Brown.
Yep.
And I would say, what you've said about the way we focused on Shamet is true. But in games 1 and 2, Denver's role players and bench played really well, and Bruce in particular. So I think whether it's Peyton Watson shuffling in or Bruce himself having a better game at home, I think you can expect the bench guys to play better than they did in Phoenix, at least. And that's, first of all, they have to. The transition defense is huge. There are a million factors, but the bench points to me are the biggest swing factor, and they have to follow suit in Game 5. So these guys got to step up.
I'll throw one last name out for you, Aaron Gordon, who is a role player.
Sure.
He's not a star. He's a really good player, but he hasn't been that yet. He's been a role player, playing great defense, doing some things. Tonight would be a great night for him to get a couple dunks in, to get a couple impact rebounds and loose balls, and just that's AG's impact. And tonight, I'm hoping he has it in him. And also, you're at home. You might get 2-3 opportunities for that corner 3 or that elbow 3. Knock it down. Let's see what happens. Real quick, as an aside, I forgot to get to this in segment 1, but a lot is made of Matt Ishbia this last time. First off, Ishbia back today. I was on the fence. Even with all the things I said about him having main character syndrome, he seems like a new Mark Cuban. Guys, today he showed up at the arena with none other than Mel Tucker, the Michigan State coach, a.k.a. Midnight Mel. You go ahead and bring up that photo here, Kale. Sitting courtside with Midnight Mel, who famously was the coach at CU, had a meeting with the boosters and with his team saying, I'm not going anywhere, no less than 4 hours before actually going into Michigan State. And by the way, why did he go to Michigan State? Do you remember?
Because he was his alma mater and he made a lot more money.
A lot of money. Booster, $15 million for Matt Ishbia.
There it is.
As a booster for Michigan State. So him bringing Mel Tucker to Denver?
It's actually a hilarious.
Unbelievable troll attempt. I hope Jokic trolls him even harder. But
Wait
hold
a
on.
second, did he though?
No, because our guy is above everything.
He never trolls.
Let's take a look at Jokic
Top
after
human
his
being.
warm-up. Is he going to go over and throw a ball or get us something? No, you know what? Here's a hug, love. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. So I feel like Jokic is both disarmingly trolling here by giving him the ball, but also somehow above it.
I agree with the same. I agree. The dap is real. I think the dap is real. I don't think Jokic is sitting there tripping on it, but I also think there was a little bit of like, they dap up and then Jokic walks away.
And if you there was another video that hung on Ishbia just a little bit longer, and the look on his face when he like roll, because he gets the ball and he's kind of like thanks and gets rid of it right away, as in like I don't want to be touching a ball. Get me out of this. But he does it. Then he has this look where he sits there for a second, and the smile just slowly fades into the Larry David. You know, the music plays as he just sits there going, "What am I doing?" I feel like it was so disarming to a guy who showed up with Mel Tucker to troll,
Yes.
and then is like, "Oh, a saint just blessed me."
I know. I hope that, although I hope if Jokic has any part of me in him, which he has none, that when they dapped up, he was like, I'm going to kill you.
I'll kill you. I will
Watch
kill
out
you.
for my brothers.
What do you think of this?
I mean, I think it's funny. Like
It
the
is
thing
funny.
is, like, look, I was once in a relationship, right?
Oh.
And the thing,
is that
about, the thing
Playing
about
the
relationships is you have to save face. Jokic won. He won the whole thing, but you have to do a temperature check. You have to make sure that you clear the air so that things can be good.
Yeah.
That was a troll attempt by both guys. Jokic also won this one. You could tell by the way that Ishbia just pushed
Yep,
the ball off
totally.
right after.
Dude, I'm telling
He
you, he was
understood
so
what it was.
uncomfortable.
He
It was
hated
so
it.
uncomfortable. He's like, all right, I have to do this. This was like, I have to do it. He pushed the ball off immediately after. He saved face.
It's like when you get in an argument, like one person takes it way too high, and the other's like, "Hey, man, it's okay, it's okay." And Ishbia's
I
like,
brought you an ice cream.
Man,
"Am I the asshole? I think I might be the asshole."
Yeah. What we witnessed in real time was something called self-awareness. Unfortunately,
Ishbia's like, he wants to go wash his eyes out. What is this feeling? I've never felt it before. Is it?
Is this shame?
Is this shame? Oh, God damn it!
By the way,
but
you-
bringing Mel Tucker to me is an all-time like. Now I know who Ishbia is. He's
Yep.
an asshole.
No, he's. You mean the guy that? Well, I'll let it go.
I also kind of love it. Like it's a great,
Sure.
it's a great
Be
villain
who
move.
you are, man. Be
it's
a
a great
villain.
villain move. But then the response has to be the crowd, the players, even the little ball thing from Jokic. Like I love it. It's great stuff. They just did a montage of sad Celtics fans in the background.
It felt great.
I feel better about tonight.
All right. Everybody's favorite part of the show. Let's open up DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. And
By the way,
let's-
I was just tweeted. Apparently, it's believed that Dev and I split one outfit. I've got the top. Look at it. Dev and I are splitting one outfit.
Oh, yeah,
It's like a
that's kinda-
suit. I'm wearing the top, and he's wearing
there you
the
go.
pants.
Nice. Well done.
Denver comes in this game as 6.5-point favorites.
Whoa!
They just know at home how good this Denver team is. 6.5 points after that loss, 2 losses straight. Like that's a lot. It just goes to show how good this team is. I don't feel comfortable with 6.5.
I
So I'm
think
gonna
if
stay
Denver
with-
wins, it's a blowout.
Yeah, that is the.
I think I'm not saying they will win, but I think that if they win, and blowout is the wrong word. I think if they win by 10.
What I do like is the under of 227.5.
Really?
I think that Denver has to slow down somebody. They just have to. Like they've been so efficient. They have 2 guys that are going nuclear from 3. If you could slow down one, that stops the scoring
Okay.
barrage that we've been seeing. So I'll go under 227.5.
I'm not taking that one.
Yeah, while you're still not taking things, let's just get on their side.
God
God.
damn it!
Devin Booker.
Man, all
That guy
right.
does whatever the hell he wants.
All right.
It
31 and a
reminds me
half.
of somebody on this show.
31.5. I gotta take it. It happens. He scores when he wants to. I also like the rebounds on Kevin Durant.
You were once in
To
a
make you guys
relationship and
happy,
you
we could
cheated.
do an under DeAndre Ayton. You could just choose something. That guy doesn't play anymore. Choose whatever you rebounds, assists, points. It doesn't matter. We could go under there. Now onto the Denver side of things. We've been looking for this X factor, a guy that like we want to step up, a guy that we feel can have a good game. The guy that is for me, KCP. KCP. I think that
Need
he
it.
is going to show up in this game. I think he hits his threes. It's only
Okay.
1.5 for his 3-pointers. He's going to hit 3 of them. He's going to hit 3.
3 of them, huh?
He might hit
Should we
4.
get an alt line?
He might get 4. Yeah, let's do an alt line.
3 threes is 265, plus 265.
Let's get it in there.
Wow.
Because it's only at 1.5 right now. I know he's going to hit that. He's
All
also
right.
going to get his 9.5 points. So you can put those together because he's going to hit his 3s.
Okay.
I'm going to take Matt Ishbia over 0.5 points.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I also like Aaron Gordon. I think that the rebounds is where I'm going to go with Aaron Gordon.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to foul out so easily in this game, especially being at home. You could do a points and rebounds because we do need him to step up in some type of way, but I do like the rebounds.
I kinda
While
like
we're on
points
threes,
rebounds,
we
actually.
like rooting for threes. Jamal Murray. I'm
Yup.
going to go to Jamal Murray threes.
Yup.
2.5 is at -150, so there is juice there. We're going to put it in the same game parlay,
Okay.
of course. But I do think that he steps up in this game. I like the points for Jokic. I love it. He
Really?
scores when he
Again?
wants to. Dude, he's getting guarded by a guy named Jock. Single coverage.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
who
right.
can't hold his.
Can't hold his. But for the lock of the game, the one that I know is going to hit 1,000%,
Oh, boy.
Jokic points, rebounds, and
let's
assists.
go.
All right, all
Oh, man,
right.
he can get that in points alone. It's at 52.5. Way too easy. Way too easy. So I'm going to go to points, rebounds,
That's
and
the
assists.
lock, huh?
Lock.
All right, putting my faith in you. D-Line, can you build us a same game parlay?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Easy to follow.
Okay. I like Jamal Murray threes as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a
He
little
didn't take a lot of threes last
measured.
game.
I'm gonna go-
Oh, okay.
I think I'm just gonna start off with 2+.
Okay.
It gets us to -390.
Not that great.
So we shouldn't stop there. I was just looking. I was hoping and praying that I'd have an opportunity to take a Peyton Watson block, but they're
not on there?
the cowards at DraftKings
can't do that,
didn't
man.
put them on
Yeah.
there. I share Dev's confidence when it comes to Jokic's output this night. So I guess I think I'll probably. I mean, I'm tempted to just do points, but I guess we'll do points, rebounds, and assists because why turn away a lock?
Where is that at for
Under stat combos?
their stat combo? Oh, there is. Points, rebounds, and assists.
Yes, point, rebounds, and assists.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic, we can get 50 plus. Such an insane number, but it feels like the surest thing in the world.
Okay.
Those two together are still getting us negative.
You haven't put Michael Porter in there. Is
I'm
he shooting
looking.
that 3 tonight?
I feel yes, it's got to be. Michael
I'm
Porter
into
Jr.
it.
has been hoisting them up. It is
3?
time for the 3+, dude.
All right.
Love it.
He's been shooting them with volume and regularity. There's absolutely no reason back in the friendly confines of Ball Arena, right in front of Mel Tucker, that he shouldn't be able to knock a few of those down. And
think that
I mean,
might be
that's
it.
3. That gets us to plus 280. I feel like we need to make it a little sweeter.
You don't have to. That's how they get you.
That is how they get you, isn't it?
I like it.
You know what? I think I might take. I really enjoyed Michael Porter Jr.'s rebounding efforts last game. I think I might get back down on that train. That doesn't seem like that's going to be drying up. So I'll get over 6.5 for that.
Wow.
So
I did not add that to mine.
that'll give us plus 550. He had that in like the first 5 minutes.
He
of the
did
game last
order a lot of. grab
So
a lot of boards.
that's my 2 Murray threes, 3 more Porter Jr. threes, 50 plus points, rebounds, and assists for Jokic, and over 6.5 rebounds for the junior.
Quick, 2 super chats, then we got to get over. TNT's on time all the time.
Tyler Peters and Michael Punctual Jr. We trust.
Oh, they would be right on time.
Laking ball, Celtics in 7. Always believe. Why Celtics? Why?
We feel your pain, man. We feel your pain. All right, everybody, we got the watch along starting up. Hit that like button on the way out. We're heading over there right now.